told me what to think, what to believe, who to follow. But I refused, not out of rebellion, but out of reason. Because true freedom begins not with a flag, but with the mind. If you're young and listening, listen closely. Mental freedom is not given, it must be claimed. And this is my message to you. When I was a boy, they wanted me to memorize dates, equations, names. But I wanted to understand. They saw silence as disobedience. I saw it as thinking. Mental freedom is the courage to question, to ask, why? Even when it's inconvenient, even when it's dangerous. You are not truly free until your thoughts are your own, not your teachers, not your society's, not even your parents'. I was labeled a slow learner, not because I lacked intelligence, but because I refused to simply accept. Obedience makes you likable, but it is freedom that makes you human. In every generation there are those who think differently. They are mocked, feared, silenced, but later remembered, not for how well they followed, but for how bravely they questioned. To the youth, I say this: your mind is not a container to be filled, it is a fire to be lit. Let the world give you knowledge, but you must give it meaning. That meaning comes only from freedom. There is a difference between intelligence and independence. A clever mind can solve problems, but a free mind asks if the problem should exist in the first place. That is where true change begins. Society loves patterns. It teaches conformity and calls it discipline. But a free thinker disrupts patterns, not for chaos, but for clarity, because sometimes the system is the problem. Mental freedom is not loud. It is not violent. It is quiet and stubborn. It is the voice that whispers, "This doesn't feel right," and dares to listen, even when everyone else stays silent. I have seen nations fall to propaganda. I have seen science twisted by power. What saved me? Not my formulas, but my refusal to think like everyone else. A young person with mental freedom is dangerous. Not to peace, but to lies. Not to order, but to oppression. Because once the mind is free, the chains outside no longer hold. They may punish your questions, they may mock your ideas, but hold the line. Because every new truth was once a heresy, and every heretic was once just a student who thought for himself. To be free in the mind is to accept uncertainty. You will not always have the answers, but you will always own your questions. And that, young one, is where real power begins. I believed in logic, but I also believed in wonder. Let your mind dance between reason and possibility. Let it explore without permission. Let it challenge what even you once believed. Mental freedom is not the absence of boundaries. It is the ability to draw your own, to say, "This is what I believe," not because I was told, but because I have thought. That is strength. You will be told who to admire, who to become, but do not let the world design your identity. A free mind builds its own blueprint and dares to live it. Be wary of comfort. Mental freedom rarely lives in comfort. It lives in friction, the tension between what is and what could be. That tension creates growth. Hold it. Don't run. You may lose friends, you may face rejection, but you will gain something more rare: integrity. And in the end, integrity walks farther than popularity. Every discovery I made, from relativity to resistance against war, came from a free mind, a mind that listened not just to books, but to conscience, and that you must never silence. There will always be voices that say, "Stay quiet, stay safe, stay in line." But history is written by those who stepped off the line and asked, "Why is it even there?" That's you. So to every young person listening, guard your mind, free your thoughts, build your voice. Because the most powerful revolution is not in the streets, it is in the mind. That is mental freedom. That is my message to you.